Chris, you're tricking me. I thought you stopped laying. What's that? All right, best chicken enrichment ever. Here we go. Water, lift, earwigs. There's more. Let's see if I can safely lift this with one hand, because this is the money shot. Oh yeah, they need the protein. Chickens like bugs more than anything. Just want to say thank you for volunteering to take care of the chickens this summer. We appreciate all the MEA families and staff that have offered to do this. So we're going to go over the basics of taking care of the chickens, and then obviously the more involved aspects of cleaning and changing out the inside of the coop. So let's get started. Okay, so outside the chicken coop, make sure you have the key, and you're going to be getting that key or allowing them to be let in by either Mike or Alex, and their phone numbers are going to be on that contact form for you. So unlocking the chicken exhibit, the lock stays on the chain. When you go in, the door goes in, and the chickens are going to kind of want to sit at the door. Just go in like with a purpose, come in and close the door again by latching it up. All right, so first thing you're going to do on a Monday or Friday, you are going to be checking for eggs first and foremost. Right here is where they will lay, and typically it's going to be in one of these two boxes. You can see Chris has an egg, so we will pull that out, and you can immediately fluff up the nesting box material, which this is called Timothy hay, and you will probably never need to change this out this summer unless you see chicken feces in the hay. So that's it for their nesting boxes. So I put the egg outside. We're going to show you changing out, or actually cleaning out their waters and shaking down their food. All right, here we go. They're going to follow you wherever you go. So the first thing you're going to do on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays is shake down their food. So if you come down here, go ahead and take off the lid. You can see most of the food is sitting right on top. Kind of gets stuck in here. And you're just going to give it a shake, and it goes down so that the chickens have access to the food down here. So this kind of gets stopped up every few days. Very important that it gets shaken down every other day. Next, you're going to check their water. So on Mondays and Fridays, you're just going to give their water trays right here a sweep to clean it out. And the chickens are waiting around this because when I lift this up, there are earwigs under here. And they love earwigs. So I'm just going to dump the water like that, and more fresh water from the reservoir is going to fill this tray again. I'm just going to put it down right here for now because they've eaten all the earwigs. Now I'm going to lift up this block very carefully because they know there's more earwigs underneath. And this is a really good source of protein for the chickens. You can kind of hold this here. Don't let this fall because you will injure a chicken, and that would be bad. They'll know when it's all cleared out, and then you can gently put the block back down again. So I'm going to gently place this block back down. Sometimes you can just move the chickens out of the way a little bit. Chris doesn't like to be touched. You see, if I drop it, I'm going to chop Zera's head off, so that would be very bad. All right, so it's level again. We'll go ahead and place this water back on. These are really heavy. Some of the little kids are not going to be able to lift these. All right, so that water's done. Let's go check the other water. Again, the Monday, Friday check is very simple. It's just the food, the water, and we're gonna sweep out this water now. The chickens think there's earwigs under here, but there aren't. Lift it, and we're gonna dump, just so it refills again. Okay, so that's it for Monday and Friday chicken checking. You can also offer them treats. So we're gonna go ahead and get those treats right now. You would normally do this after you clean on Wednesdays, but I'm just showing you that if you have Monday, Friday, chicken care, food, water, check for eggs, pull the eggs, fluff up their hay, and then you can offer them treats. So we're gonna show you where you can find some treats for the chickens right here in the garden. We have, if you don't want the tomatoes for yourself, you're more than welcome to take some home with you. But some of them are kind of old and squishy, so you can pick some of those off and offer those to the chickens. They don't love tomatoes, but they'll eat them. And then right here is Swiss chard. Feel free to grab a stem. You can just tear it off the bottom like that, especially the ones that have a lot of bug holes. So 2 or 3 stems are great, a couple tomatoes, and that's if you don't have any treats that you brought with you. I brought some treats with us today. So again, I would do this after you clean on those Wednesdays, but on Mondays and Fridays, it can be pretty quickly that you're offering treats. So it gets hot in here, so we try to offer the greens underneath the shade areas. The chickens will get right underneath your feet, so sometimes you gotta be really careful about where you walk. Okay, so a head of lettuce, if you're having those romaine hearts, you can bring one of those in. This is a fun treat for the chickens. Kind of shove it in there and they'll peck at that. They like cucumbers. If you have some cucumbers that aren't quite wonderful to eat yourself, make sure things aren't moldy. We're not offering moldy food to the chickens, but if it's not the best looking cucumber, you can offer it. And then obviously you have the Swiss chard. I brought in some cooked pasta. That's always interesting for them. And their absolute favorite are quartered grapes. They will prefer these over everything. We don't give too many of these because there's a lot of sugar in them. Chris usually sees these and she goes crazy for them. So this is about a dozen quartered grapes. They love to be hand-fed too. This is just spending some time with them. So the 3 areas you're gonna need to find tools or food or refills for whatever the chickens need are gonna be right here by the science room. So this tub is not a trash can. This is where all their mash, chicken mash is. There's a bunch of bags in here. There are 2 more bags inside of the science room. I'll make sure those get pulled out as we get lower on these. These bags are 50 pounds a piece, so the little kids are not gonna be able to lift these. Once you pull them up and out, you can either leave the bag right here, or you can bring it into the exhibit with you to refill the food, or you can bring the food out and use this little cup if you don't want to lift and pour into the bag. These bags are about $22 a piece. We have 6 bags locked and loaded and ready to go. So this is the most important thing that they get and they have access to at all times. So on Wednesdays, make sure you're filling up their food container in there. Mondays and Fridays, you're just shaking it down. If you see that it needs to get refilled, by all means do that. But Wednesdays are the main days to make sure that whole food container gets filled to the absolute top. All right, so these 2 trash cans are for chicken debris. So you can bring these in with you on Wednesdays when you clean. You will also need rakes, and those are in the greenhouse. So if there's only 2 people, I would just grab 1 big rake, 1 small rake. If there's more, you can grab all 4. And then you're also gonna get either bleach or vinegar. It just depends on which one you're more comfortable with when you're disinfecting the water dishes. So again, cleaning, raking, and disinfecting water dishes only happens on Wednesdays. All right, so come on in. And the other area you're going to be familiar with is this bin right here. If you look inside, we have all the dustpans. We also have shaving refills for the inside of the coop. We have rolled papers. They're all doubled up. And then we have Timothy hay refills, which I don't think you're ever gonna need to do the Timothy hay, but it's there for you just in case. All right, so when you're cleaning, you can basically spot clean the piles of chicken poops around this area, because if you rake, you have a tendency to rake up just a ton of rock, and we don't really want to do that. So that's the spot cleaning, right? Getting all the poop around. And then the other parts of the exhibit, you're actually going to want to rake. So the area that really needs to be raked the most is in this back corner. You're going to want to get all the way back in here with the smaller rake and get all the leaf matter up, because this is where they like to nest and dust bathe in this whole area. And as long as this is raked once a week, we won't have a lot of issues with mites on the chickens. So the whole exhibit is getting raked on Wednesdays, every Wednesday. But this area over here would need to pay particular attention because they will sit in here and dust bathe, and they have a lot of poop in there. So I'm just doing a quick version of the raking, but this is what it's gonna look like. And then the whole exhibit, again, you're just pulling some extra food out and around, all around. You wanna check the doghouse. It gets lifted up like this. And if you look inside, there's just some nesting material in there. It looks like they've been sitting in there. So you can just bring it around, fluff it up, make it look like a fun spot for them to be again. It's shaded. Sometimes they'll lay eggs in there, but it hasn't been for about 8 months. So just more of like a hangout place for them. That's raking. This is the easiest way to scoop up a lot of the debris that you're going to be tossing into the trash cans. Alex is going to be dumping these for us on Wednesday, so you don't have to worry about that. Now I'm going to show you the inside of the coop. This is going to get changed out every other Wednesday. So this was changed out just recently, so it was 2 days ago. When you open the coop, there's 2 latches on either side, so just go up and turn. There's a block that sits right over to the right side of the door. You want to put that right in the middle, and that's to protect the hinges right here from breaking, because you're going to be putting weight when you're getting in here. It's not that hard to get inside, but it is a little bit tricky. You got to be kind of flexible. So if you're doing a full change out, you can see that there's paper underneath there. You saw the paper housed in that box over there. So when you're ready for a full change out, which doesn't need to happen except every other Wednesday, and I can't get this paper up right now, you're just gonna lift it, and then you're gonna fold it over, and then just pull it out. You're gonna try to get back as far as you can. If you have any shavings that are left over, sweep those up, dispose of them, and then you have the paper in the box. You'll lay that out again. You can see a little bit of shavings goes a long way. So the shavings that we have in that box are supposed to last us the entire summer. But again, this is only gonna get changed out 5 more times this summer. And you just kind of sprinkle lightly. They have a tendency to roost right over here by the door, so you'll see a lot of poop right at the front, but you can see everywhere else is fairly clean. Sometimes if it's a really clean spot, you can just toss more shavings over to the spot where there's a lot more poop. So don't go crazy with the shavings. We don't have any extras for the rest of the summer. So once you've replaced the paper and added more shavings, light coat of shavings, you're gonna go ahead and close everything back up. Sometimes you have to lean into the wood because it's slightly swollen. Make sure those latches get put back in the latch position, closed position, put the black away, and you're done. So this only takes about, 5 to 10 minutes to change out, not too bad. The raking takes the longest. Last but not least, make sure your tools get put away. Everything goes back where it came from. That goes away. Oop, this goes right here. And if a chicken happens to wander out, Chris is really looking like she wants to walk outside right now. Let's place these right here. Don't worry, don't fret. This is what you're gonna do. You can get the mealworms that are right here. Shake the bag. They'll follow you back in. See that? Don't worry, this is a high value food item. Don't freak out. Try not to leave the door open, but if it ends up happening that way, this is why we have mealworms there. They love to eat out of your hand too. Here, I'll come out in the sun. You can also sprinkle these around at the end of your cleaning time or the end of your hanging out time. And this is a great thing for them to forage for. Foraging is really, really good. So you can use like two large handfuls or 4 small handfuls. Kind of sprinkle everything around. This stuff can stay in the sun. And then there's one more treat you can sprinkle around. We have some rolled oats. We're sitting right next to the bag of mealworms. Same thing, take a handful, throw them around, give them a chance to forage for things, and that's pretty much it. So on Wednesdays, when you are disinfecting both water dishes, this is what you're gonna do. Both water dishes have a screw top right here that's on the top of it. It gets taken off. The other one is a white one, this is black. And it gets put onto the part where the water comes out. You can go ahead and dump this and then carry it, whatever water is left in there. These are awkward. It's nice to have someone manning the door for you. So if you want to dump whatever water is left in here onto the plants, that's great. Otherwise, you can just dump it right here. So I'm gonna show you cleaning this one right now. It involves unscrewing the lid. I'm gonna give these plants water today. A little bit on the sunflowers. Okay, now disinfecting. Yeah, I didn't put my tools away. Now they're in the wrong spot. I'll be right back. We have a sponge inside the sink. Make sure you turn the hose on. Bring it over to the cleaning station right here. Trying to keep chemicals away from the plants. So again, you can use either a little bit of vinegar or a little bit of bleach, whatever you're comfortable with. And it's just a splash, okay? So as you're cleaning this off, just gonna give it a little rinse. Now I'm gonna use bleach. I already bleached this on Wednesday, so I'm just gonna go through the motions here. You're just gonna give a small little splash, and then fill it up. You can do this at the very beginning of your cleaning on Wednesday so that the bleach will sit in here. If you're not comfortable with bleach, feel free to use vinegar. You can use the sponge to wipe down the tray. This is so we're not having algae formation on their water dishes. And one thing that chickens will die from is not having access to clean, fresh water. So after it's soaked for 5 or 10 minutes while you're cleaning, you can just dump it right here in the mulch. You're gonna give it a rinse. I would give it a couple rinses just to make sure you don't have any bleach water sitting in there. And then when you're ready to fill it back up again, it will take a few minutes to fill up. So you can just kind of latch it like that, let it fill up. Screw the lid back on. Make sure the thread goes with this part, because if it's wonky, if it's lopsided, all the water will go pouring out. Also, be careful setting these trays down, because if they crack, all the water will go pouring out. Again, the most important thing for chickens to have is a clean, fresh water source every single day. All right, so carrying the water back in, I'll let you close the door. It's very awkward, so sometimes if you carry it between your legs and just let it swing, it's a little bit easier. So make sure it's level, place it down gently, and don't forget to unscrew the cap and put it back to its hanging out place. Okay, fresh water, chickens have fresh water. You only need to do that once a week, disinfecting, but Mondays and Fridays it's sweeping, dumping, and setting back down. If you want to pick up 0, you're more than welcome to. So picking up a chicken, you want to support their wings on either side and a little bit on their chest. You can put them right underneath your arm and just hang out. She's the only chicken that likes to be touched and or held. This is 0. The white chicken is Chris. She's the one that's laying eggs. And the one that has beautiful colorations on her feathers, the Egyptian Fayoumi, her name is Cleopatra. They're very social. Feel free to hang out with them as long as you like. They love the company. 2 final things. Make sure when you are done with everything, it's getting locked again. It's locked this way, not that way. It's hard to unlock it if it's locked that way. And if you have any concerns, any problems, we have the laminated sheet right here. That's everything that was sent to you in an email. And contact information for the people who signed up. We have
cell phone numbers for Mike and Alex on here, as well as Principal Brown's phone number. You can feel free to text me as well. I will be out of town a few weeks over the summer, so I won't be able to come in for any emergencies, but you have 3 other people you can contact if there's an emergency: sick chicken, escaped chicken. Don't feel scared to reach out to anybody. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking care of the chickens. We love them.